Hello, viewers. Welcome to another interview segment with Somi, where I bring you inspiring stories from inspiring people. Today, I have a guest, and he's a musician, a writer, a composer, an actor, a comedian, and a farmer, and the rightful owner of Haya Umima, the trending song you never knew he was the owner. Let's make welcome. Senjo! You're welcome, I said, sir.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure. Actually, I am Joseph Uro Ukie by name. Saint Joe is my music name. I hail from Ebonyi State, Afipo, precisely. God bless you. Thank you very much.
Wow, good to have you on set, sir.
Yeah.
Could you take us back to how you started your music journey?
Wow, such a long journey, man. Okay. I started my journey as a musician. Though I never need to take me to this height. We just seeing it as just those things we just do. In 1992, while way back then in government secondary school, Afipo, I met some guys who were also in the same spirit. I had to queue in. But then they were players, and the other one play guitar, and the other one play bass. But I just joined them. I had this pleasure of following them that was burning in me. And I followed them from that 92 till 1997. I never touched an instrument. I
Wow.
only sat and went
Good.
behind. Once they finished performing, I packed their loads
Mm.
without pleasure. So this brings me to also encouraging young artists as you're coming up. Don't be in a haste to just rush into the whole thing. Be patient.
Mm.
The Bible also stated that once, if you have done the will of God, there is need for you to be patient and wait because that promise must surely come. So in 1997, an occasion presented itself where our lead vocalist was nowhere to be found.
Mm.
Then there was no phone like it everywhere now. There was no GSM. You know, it was an opportunity. So I was now encouraged by Pascal to pick up the microphone. My first time of handling the microphone,
Wow.
and by the special grace of God, I did well. And I happened to be the first young boy to start performing as a musician in Afipo as a whole.
Wow.
And the whole thing
Amazing.
announced me everywhere.
Mm.
Since that 1997, the microphone has not left my hand.
Mm.
To the glory of God, I backed so many albums we produced as when we are together in Destin Gospel Band. There's
Okay.
a song popularly known as Obon Neme, More Than a Millionaire, mentioned by a few, led by Bro Patrick Chuku. Then I was a backup artist.
Okay.
All right, so in 2005,
Mm.
the song Ayamema
Mm.
came up. So that has been the journey so far before I became a notable artist. While I was joining this group, my parents, my uncles never allowed me. They discouraged me so badly that I could even forfeit my food
Mm.
to make sure instead of me to join them to farm, I would rather dodge. You can eat the food, let me go to. As young teenagers, as we're coming up, we're always forced to go to farm. Sometimes after secondary school, you go to farm before you eat. So I feel like they can eat their food, this music. So, and it gave me this kind of I said, let me surprise them. Let me show them that actually that musicians can be responsible, you know. And by the special grace of God, I was inspired to do that song. And I chose that pattern of music because in my village where I'm coming from, I chose, like the Bible says, worship me with your own tone of music and sounds. I have to gather our local sound, and that was how Aya Omema came to be. And then, by the special grace of God, I remember once it was released, it was just unique that it wasn't like every other song that gave it a very special attention from audience. There was the instrumental was so local that everybody wanted to know what it's all
was in the
about.
song.
So
Okay.
that is it.
How were you able to combine your education with your music career?
Wow, it was really a Herculean task, but all the same, you have to plan yourself and have what we call drawing your scale of preference, picked the most preferred out of everything you needed. I was able to do this because it was a challenge. At a time when people were already taking note of my actings and music, I was facing this particular challenge of not being educated.
Mm,
Each time I hear people talk down on me, I feel so demoralized.
mm,
Sometimes challenges always help us,
mm.
but if you're angry about challenges, you may not really pick up. When each time I hear, it's not just to dance and sing, can he amount to anything?
Wow.
He's not even educated or this and that. I picked that courage. I came from this humble background that all we are depending on my mom alone. I didn't even know who my dad was. So, but I have to sit down and say, I must be a graduate.
Mm,
I cut down friends. The little money I would make from music, I was saving.
mm,
And to go through pre-degree school, Ebony State University here. God helped me. I scaled through, got admission to study public administration. The whole thing was this. It helped me not to move with too many friends because I know it was a very big challenge. People were waiting at home. They didn't even believe I was in school because I was always on the stage,
performing.
coming, coming on Monday to school, then Thursday out of school. It was so, but God helped me. I was coping because I have to map out my programs. Once the time for this one gets, I leave. I didn't have time for much. Even made me, it curtailed me
Okay.
that much of the school activities, I wasn't involved. All I will go to lecture, go to your music, because that was where I was earning my living, pay my school fees.
Wow.
God really helped
Such
me.
a great discipline.
I trained myself in university. While I was doing that, I was also feeding people at home.
Amazing.
And at the time, my mom came up and said, if you were not my son, I would have thought you were doing something else. I said, Ma, I only cut down friends and have to make some savings. Surprisingly, God helped me. In 2017, I graduated.
Oh, congratulations.
As a bureaucrat. It didn't still stop the music aspect. So everything in life is you timing yourself, discipline yourself, know what you want, go for it. There are friends you don't need to keep that will not
They want
let
to
you
achieve something.
Yeah, if you're getting to somewhere, those that cannot assist you get there, drop them. It doesn't mean that they're not your friends. It only means you are not walking towards the same direction. Once you get to where you're going to, you can move ahead with them. Thank you very much.
Wow. Okay, so you talked about you having to take on the mic when the lead singer wasn't present. Something would have led to that. You would have demonstrated some virtues and morals in the place of service before you would have been trusted with such a great opportunity to represent such one that wasn't present. So tell us about that. How was it serving? What were
You're
the
really
things you
taking me
had?
back those days. Well, what really gave that courage that the people that even sent me were not afraid was because while the opportunity was piling up, I had, these days, systems and internet is just helping people do things easily. We had this little radio we used to call Danger, Tom radio, very
Okay.
small radio. We would buy cassette. Most of the young men now doesn't know what is cassette. We buy this little cassette. I will always be buying them, loading them. Each little money I get, I go to the market, buy the songs, and buy battery. Tiger Head, these big batteries, I was loading them. The songs I like listening to, I put them and study them. I was scoring them one after the other. And when opportunity presented itself, it wasn't really difficult for me because I was just like someone who is overloaded, waiting for to deliver.
You were preparing
I
yourself.
was just preparing myself. I didn't know when the manifestation will come until that time came. And the young man and my bosses that said, go and pick the microphone, had already, we were sleeping together.
Okay.
We were always
In the
together.
same.
So each time they will pick a particular song and be listening to it. So they were so confident that I can. And at the time, when any particular song, like then I was known for a particular song, Nnam Abraham, Ndi Nwatureja Churu Chukwu Aja. And a particular Patience Owona then. Oh no no Wabiko Yobachi ya Ọnwụnwa Bịarala ya. So those songs were all in my head. So when they are singing, I'll be following them, lyrics to lyrics, verse to verse. So when the opportunity came, they weren't afraid. I grabbed it.
Wow.
So that was the whole thing. And was so fascinating when the lead vocalist came back in subsequent programs. Tension could not allow her pick microphone again. That was how she just backed out.
Wonderful. And that was how you continued.
That was how. So, so that was just the whole thing. Even the backup artist was supposed to take over. Fear of my presence. Because they were singing, they were not going for research. When I came up with some diverse research and songs that they were like, does this really exist? So while you are doing something, you need to also make a research and you trend them. That is it.
Okay. So as a music minister, there has to be sensitivity to the leadings, the direction of the space. Some people feel, okay, I'm just a musician and I just sing and I go. I don't build my personal spiritual life. What do you have to say about that, combining your spiritual development and your music career as a musician?
All right, thank you very much. All depends on there's what we call nature nurture controversy. The nature in which we were born and how you were nurtured. I was nurtured by a mother who was so godly. And that's, as the Bible said, train up a child in a way, grow when he grows up, he will not depart from that. That was, I came up from such a background that we believe everything is about God. So as I was growing, all my songs were about things of God. It was helping me to even build up. In fact, along the line, I began to ask God. I was this erotic man that I could not even sing any English song. I began to like, God, if actually I'm going to reach out to the world, I need give me songs composed in English that everybody can be carried along. And then there are too many temptations as a musician. But once you stand your ground, it's not that you won't fall. The Bible says the righteous falleth 7 times and rise up again. Falling is not an issue, but when you fall and refuse to rise up. So in my spiritual life and that of the music has already helped me build up.
Okay.
If I see myself in a particular situation, all I think is the song I can render to draw down His glory. And that was even what escalated my music. I was like outstanding from others while I was coming up. It didn't stop my spiritual life. It made me more spiritual.
Okay. So could you tell us some of those memorable events and impacts that your ministration made in the lives of people?
Well, I can remember vividly. Some years ago, I worship with winners.
Okay.
I was born a Presbyterian, but then in Winners, Pastor Izzy Bennett, in his time, some pastors are good in inspiring people, encouraging people. So when the man was posted to Afibo, he had a pattern. I was a choir leader then.
Okay.
So in some of the days I was ministering, there used to be a lot of testimonies, healing. There's a spectacular one that I cannot forget. A lady that was AS. She
Wow.
has gone to places.
Mm.
And after administration that day, we just praising God.
Mm.
I'm this person that works according to reading. I can start with praise and
Okay.
end with worship
Mm.
as I'm led.
Mm.
So on that particular day, I was just praising God. At the time I just said worship me.
Wow.
Where we were just worshiping wasn't unique with Winner's pattern. Everybody was on the floor.
Mm.
One day got up, testimonies. The lady said she went for a test in about 3 places, and her genotype was AA automatically.
Wow.
And that made the man pick more interest in me.
Mm.
When he was posted to Nsoka, he invited me to Nsoka.
Wow, to minister.
Winners Chapel in Nsoka. And I can remember vividly well, these are not make-up stories. While the worship was still going on, the same I was still led in that manner. After praising God and entered into worship, when we ended, the man said, I know there are testimonies. A lady that had a hole in the heart that said she was booked for an operation, but there was no catch. She was just waiting to make up the money. Said for long she has not danced, neither can she walk, but that she feel light. That was how the testimony in Nsoka.
Wow.
And the thing made many of the pastors started calling me from place to place, Sometimes in a program, I can just be in wake up. I've experienced in a wake up where we are just performing. Okay. We are falling under another. I say, what people are supposed to be. Some are carrying their beer drinking, and some people were, in the atmosphere. And I know it always happens when I myself is already soaked in the spirit. It comes from you and transferred to others. So that is how the little impact I can remember. Okay. There are too many sundry others.
Okay, you've told us about the beautiful memories. Of course, in every memory, there's always a challenge or setback. So, were there times that you faced setbacks?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Too many. Sorry to say, I sometimes posted last month that in Nahum chapter 1, verse 9, the affliction shall not arise again the second time. I woke up and had this burden I posted, but mine has come in multiple ways. Is it because of crime or whatever? But someone called and said, you are being built up for a higher level. Yeah, one of the challenges that has been difficult for me to overtake, to subdue, although I'm trying. It took place in 2000 and then I lost a beloved one.
Wow.
Yeah. The young lady, I contributed in training her in school as a nurse. She graduated. I got married in 2011. Okay. And I dated her for good 8 years waiting for that wedding day. After the wedding, we just wedded. After 3 years and 5 months, she fell ill. She graduated on November, got a job on January, fell sick on March, died on January.
Wonderful.
So it was just like a movie. And in these challenges, I must confess, there was nobody around that could say,
that could bring
sundry of friends and too many. But when that challenge came,
you were alone.
I was just alone. And that it gave me so many thoughts about what is really friendship. Who is really your friend? Jesus must be the one. I sleep on down. cold weather, all alone. And it was just not a good moment. It has really affected even my performance. People stopped calling me for shows because I didn't have time for those things. I was pursuing to see if life can be restored. And then the battle was so tough that I lost her. Look at the thing. I had an album to present then in 2015. Jesus Job. Wow.
Okay.
It was looked like a challenge. I'm thanking God for how faithful He has been. And I did the launching on 1st of January.
And then
the woman died on 15th of January. I said, wow, thanking God for, so that alone, I try to battle it, but God is helping me. And it has never been the same since then, sincerely speaking. I know as a challenge. Another challenge is I've tried my possible best to see that my voice is being heard all over. I've done everything I could, but I think this is the time.
This is the time.
I want to believe I have passed the test. So I believe this is
welcome on board.
Thank
this
you.
Is the time. Okay, we will be right back after this break. Don't go away.
Aya omema aya omema omeriwo aya ome aya omema omeriwo aya omema Chineke bomema omeriwo aya ome aya omema omeriwo aya omema Chineke ogoma merie imeriwo aya Israel imeriwo aya omema omeriwo ọkwara ụzọ n'ikpa Chineke bụ ụmụ ya imeriwo okwenkwe memkwa imeriwo aya omema omeriwo chimara obi m chinadịga oke imeriwo aya omema ọdịmeme mma imeriwo aya omema omeriwo Jesus bekpemu yeyewo adighe koru n'eluwa Jesus bekpemu aya omemma aya ogbora me aya onye nwa tinyere nwanya ga nwa imeriwo ibuchi na gozi ndigie na mbolilanya digie chimonye zara mepere na mbolilanya gwụrụ ya mere njise n'imeriwo maka n'ibe omemma onye mmeri aya omemma aya omemma omeriwo aya dike ndị ejago imeriwo omemma omeriwo aya omemma chinadịga oke imeriwo o mechiri ọdụmọnụ n'olu imeriwo aya omemma omeriwo aya omemma chinadịga n'asịrị imeriwo imeriwo aya omemma omeriwo ọ bụrụgodi na highway chim ịbụ onye isi njem imeriwo ọgwọ mbike gwụrụja nke ụwa imeriwo ọ bụrụgodi na highway chim ịbụ onye isi ụgbọ imeriwo onye isi nkụkụ ụlọ imeriwo asị m ọ bụrụgodi na high sea chim ịbụ onye isi ụgbọ imeriwo onye ndị abamba imeriwo ọ bụrụgodi na ọgbọ agụ echi ịbụ onye isi agha imeriwo okenna dịberezi onye dịka gị imeriwo ọ bụrụgodi na elu ikuku dadie ịbụ onye isi njem imeriwo onye ndị abamba imeriwo Chinagozi Josie ibideji ndume imeriwo onye ji ọganihu imeriwo Chinagozi Josie ọ bụghị ka m ga-ekpere imeriwo chimarie ngabụ echi niile imeriwo mama a ga-enweghị mmadụ ebiwo, a ga-enweghị ego m ebiwo, a ga-etibọrịbọ m ebiwo, maka na ọ batara n'ime ndụ m. Ọ bụ ya bụ chi na-enye ndụ, ọ bụ ya bụ kwere nkwa mee ya mere njasị ya na o meriwo. Ome mma ka ọ bụla dị nwanyị isi mkpe, ọgbọghọ onye a na-emegbu emegbu, ọ bụghị ibe ike m ji aba o. Ome mma nara ekele, ibe ome mma bịara ibe otuto imeriwo. Aya ome ome ome, aya ome mma omeriwo. Ọkwa ụbọchị ise na-azapụ ha ka ijiri zụọra nri onye eze. Aya ome ome ome, aya ome mma omeriwo. Ọkwa ijiri ịnyịnya ibu were Jerusalem onye eze. Aya ome ome ome, aya ome mma omeriwo. Ị gara ije n'elu oke osimiri, ịbụ dike na-adị mkpa imeriwo. Aya ome ome ome, aya ome mma omeriwo. Sokwanụ gị talita kumie, onye nwụrụ anwụ wee bilie imeriwo. Aya ome ome ome, aya ome mma omeriwo. Aka emetụrụ n'ọnụ uwe gị, onye rụrụ ọbara dị ọcha imeriwo. Aya ome ome ome, aya ome mma omeriwo. Okwanụ gị ka ijiri kelee ụwa, ọ bụghị bụ ome mma imeriwo. Aya ome ome ome, aya ome mma omeriwo. Ịhụla n'onye ogbe kwuo okwu, naanị gị bụ onye mere ya imeriwo. Aya ome ome ome, aya ome mma omeriwo. Omeriwo. Amara obi mewe, dike njeje ọgụ mee, weturu ugo lọta. Ike nkwa bamba onye si m ga-aba egwu adịghị m ụjọ adịghị mee, ogbega ugwu njale, oke nna m ochie o ji nwa eme ọgọ onye si m gaba matụlụjọ unu bịa n'ụlere ojiji jide mma mee, onye isi aga ka ọ bụle, onye na-elu nna m jem mee, onye na-enye m amamihe, eze ka eze niile o, eze ka eze niile o. Ọmara ọbamba imeriwo ole, aka na-egboro m mkpa ọmara ihe na-akpapasị ike, ọmara ihe na-akpọ ụmụ ya
Wow, that song that you heard was from St. Joe. And he's right here. And you heard him, he said, this is the time. And you'll be hearing more of his music. So,
by strength shall no man prevail. There is need for patience in everything. I believe this is the right time. In fact, the same career led me to knowing who was Dr. Paul Mokocha.
Wow. Tell us about it.